But first, some big business news over the weekend as the Bay has announced it will be liquidating their entire business. And for more on this, let's welcome in Global Senior Business Correspondent Anne Gaviola. Anne, good morning to you. In the Bay, which is Canada's oldest company, back in court today saying that it's run out of options to stay afloat. So I guess the big question everyone asking this morning, is this the end of the Bay?
Yeah, a lot has changed since we spoke last week. Back then, there were reports Hudson Bay would find a way to keep about half of its 80 stores across Canada open. Now, Canada's oldest company says it's forced to liquidate its entire business because it wasn't able to come up with the financing to keep the doors open and the lights on. And worth noting, it also owns 3 Saks Fifth Avenue locations and 13 Saks off Fifth stores. So, as you mentioned, HBC back in court today seeking approval to start the liquidation process. More than 9,000 jobs at risk across the country. And analysts tell me the new timeline means winding down its business, closing its doors permanently at all locations for the last time in June. The loyalty points program is suspended probably forever. I told you guys about that. And I'm told by a couple of analysts that customers probably have until early April to spend their gift cards. But if I had an HBC gift card, I would use it up ASAP. Things can change on a dime.
This is obviously tough. This is the hardest for employees, but this is a legacy company. This is tough for all of us to hear.
Sure, without a doubt. Yeah, it's a real changing of the guard, without a doubt.
All right.
Absolutely.
In other business news, domestic airlines now readjusting their flight plans with the growing sentiment to buy Canadian. What more can you tell us about this, Anne?
Yeah, the change in consumer sentiment when it comes to supporting Canada or boycotting the U.S. is palpable, and that extends to where people spend their travel dollars. Now, observers tell me that what we're seeing is actually just the tip of the iceberg, and this trend may become more pronounced with new bookings. So carriers are pivoting. We've heard from Porter and Flair. They're readjusting their marketing, so they're not marketing U.S. routes to Canadian customers. They tried that, and that type of marketing wasn't well received, so they're reading the room. And Flair's recent promo code for 50% off routes that don't include the U.S., that promo code was Tariff 50. So you can kind of read between the lines in terms of what's going on there. Last month, we heard from Air Canada executives. They said that our largest carrier may reduce flights to certain U.S. destinations and add more domestic routes and sun destinations like Mexico and the Caribbean. And last month, we heard from WestJet saying it saw a 25% drop in demand for U.S. cities, and it may well reduce routes to the U.S. That all will be based on customer demand.
Yeah. So, Anne, what are we reading into this? Is it expected that Canadians are going to stay home, go to more domestic travel spots throughout this summer season and spend their money here in Canada?
That is the hope, that this will be a kind of shot in the arm for tourism destinations across Canada, similar to what we started to see during the COVID pandemic days when people started to be allowed to travel. There's a big focus on staycations that may be expanding. You know, think of all these wonderful spots that we have to visit and to spend time in from coast to coast to coast. And certainly I'm told that the tourism industry could use that kind of support.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Anne, we're going to leave it there. Thank you for the update.
You bet. We've got some great places across Canada. We just need to remember that they exist.
Yep.
For sure. And then, furthermore, I mean, that's one thing, changing the destinations, but prices need to come down too. It's been extremely high to fly domestically.
Absolutely.
Those prices need to come down as well.
The calculation for vacations are not only planned on this, but when you look at the exchange rate, the Canadian dollar weakening compared to the U.S. dollar, some of that, cost in terms of the vacation might have changed for some people. So we shall see.
Without a doubt. All right. And thanks again. Appreciate it.